Good afternoon. It's so exciting to be here. Just want to take a moment of gratitude. Just want to thank Zeev, Mel, Olivia, Natasha, and the entire Landmark team. Being in community with the Social Innovation Summit, our peers, mentors, incredible people that are here is just such a gift. So excited to be here today and to be a part of this conversation. I'm particularly excited that so many of us are both focused on and talking about things like systems change. We're talking about advancing equity and a topic that we're really excited about at UBS, the ownership economy. UBS is the world's largest global wealth manager, and core to our purpose is how we're advancing inclusive growth, how we are reimagining the power of investing and connecting people for a better world. And a better world is one we know that's more equitable. A lot of this work has been centered around the past 10 years that we've invested to make entrepreneurship more inclusive. And some of you who know me have heard me say this, but we really believe that entrepreneurship can be a pathway to ownership, to asset building, and to generational wealth. And generational wealth is something that has the potential to be long-lasting and sustainable. And I wanted to share that because we couldn't be more fortunate to be joined by these incredible leaders that I'm sitting next to on stage today. Burton from Black Innovation Alliance, Alexis Holmes from the White House, Department of Education. We're going to get into this conversation. Really excited about the partnership that we have and the collaboration opportunities that we're going to be talking about. So let's start with you, Kelly.
Sure.
Would love if you could share with people what is Black Innovation Alliance, and also just high level, what's this decade of Black innovation about?
So first of all, Jamie, thank you so much for the invitation to join you today. We are excited to not only share with you all, but to partner with you in the decade of Black innovation at UBS. So BIA, Black Innovation Alliance, is a national coalition of organizations that are dedicated to supporting Black tech founders, business owners, and creative technologists. They are running the incubators, the accelerators. They are creating local space in communities across the United States. We really consider our members as the front line of support for Black entrepreneurs and innovators across the country. There are currently 116 organizations that are a part of Black Innovation Alliance. That's grown from about 30-something in 2020. And currently our members, they support about 400,000 entrepreneurs and innovators across the US and some even internationally. At BIA, we really see our work as being dedicated to creating the sort of ecosystem that is necessary for Black innovators and entrepreneurs to thrive. And we know that that requires more than episodic investment and programmatic support. We really need to build a movement, and we really need to incorporate people and build people power in order to advance the potential and possibility of the innovation economy. And that's where the decade of Black innovation comes in. So between 2020 and 2030, we are looking to support 500 organizations that in turn support 1 million Black entrepreneurs and innovators and directing $1 billion in resources to the Black serving ecosystem. We really, we're excited. And we're well on our way. We're well on our way. We consider it as the umbrella for our work, and many of our signature programs and initiatives live under the umbrella of the decade of Black innovation, including the partnership that we're going to talk about today with the White House and our most recent 3-year partnership with UBS. UBS has invested $3 million in Black Innovation Alliance over the next 3 years, which allows us to deploy capacity building support to our organizations. We're bringing about 100 of these ecosystem builders together in 2 weeks. We'll be in Miami for Sustainability Summit, which is a tremendous opportunity for us to come together and connect and convene, and provides training and development support for our leaders on the ground.
Thank you. And we're really honored to have Alexis here, one of your scale collaborators.
Yes.
Alexis, would you share with us what is the focus of the work that you're leading in this White House initiative?
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm just so excited to be here. This is my first time at the Social Innovation Summit, and I'm already talking about next year. So by way of just a little bit of history, the White House Initiative on Black Americans is actually one of the newest initiatives. We have a series of sister initiatives, as we say. So there's an initiative on Hispanic Americans, as well as Asian American, Pacific Islanders, HBCUs, and Native Americans, actually. And by way of just a bit of a factoid here, all of the initiatives are actually led by women of color. So it's such a powerful visual when we're all together. But the White House Initiative on Black Americans is actually organized around 3 priorities, and that's education, equity, and economic opportunity. And taking you back down a little bit of history, the White House Initiative on Black Americans was actually launched by President Obama and expanded under President Biden to encompass equity and economic opportunity. And so we are so excited to be in collaboration with Kelly and her team, as well as some of you out there who have actually didn't know you were going to be here. And so it was nice to run into you. But we're very, very excited, quite frankly, to do something that the team and I really wanted to launch. And that was, what are the kinds of collaborations and the relationships that we can establish with those groups and those individuals who are talking about the issues that are going to be significant 50, 100 years down the road. So we're very much forward thinking in our activities and our engagements. And so it was a very natural connection with the Black Innovation Alliance. And actually, I like to say that I courted Kelly as soon as I learned that they had launched. And we're just really excited about working with them and making sure that we're bringing all of the resources and opportunities that this administration has.
Thank you. Well, one of the things that we talked a little bit about was how these things come to be. You know, do we call you at the White House and ask for you if we want to partner with you? How did this happen? So, Kelly, I think it would be great if you could talk a little bit about how BIA's core role in developing the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation a year ago. How did that lead to this collaboration opportunity with Alexis?
That's a great question. So in 2021, it's probably important that I mention that BIA is 3 years old. It was birthed in the midst of COVID quarantine, and it came together pretty much as a grassroots initiative. And in 2021, we took a small delegation to Web Summit. I met Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett there. She was speaking. And we pitched her on the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation, which was a part of our movement strategy under the Decade of Black Innovation. We had actually imagined that it's something that we would have activated later on, deeper into the decade, because we thought it would take a good bit of time to gin up the support necessary to do it. But I pitched her on it. This was in November of 2021. She returned to Washington, D.C. and socialized it with her colleagues, identified 2 additional co-chairs, and by April, we were helping Congress to launch the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation. So this was a historic moment for our community at BIA. We felt that it was really important that we center not only the conversation on Black innovation, but to connect the dots across all of these kind of disparate conversations that were happening, whether it was around tech representation or supplier diversity or artificial intelligence or privacy. We said we need to fit that under a broader umbrella and thread it through because we need holistic solutions. And that also triggered us to draft a policy agenda, which you can find on our website, the Black Innovation Policy Agenda. And around April of this year, we were coming up on the anniversary and we were trying to figure out a way or a means of celebrating the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation. And so that's where our collaboration emerged. So I'll let you take it from there, Alexis.
Well, it was, again, it was just such a natural, because I think when this administration began, there was such an intentionality around doing things differently. And as we were meeting all of the challenges that, the pandemic brought with it, it also brought an opportunity to how can we reimagine? How can we reimagine around education? How can we reimagine around equity as well as economic opportunity? And so when I first learned that the Congressional Caucus on Black Innovation had been created, it seemed like such a natural in keeping with that theme, but also around how do we begin to engage our youth? This is where our young people are. And it's an opportunity to, again, be able to create some opportunities for our Black entrepreneurs, but as well as begin to really build that pipeline with our Black youth as well. So it was a natural, and we're very much excited about this work.
I think it's important to mention, when we first had the call, you really don't know what to expect. So if you've ever worked with federal government, usually it's going to be a bit challenging, and we assumed that it would be hard, or we were trying to level our expectations. But when we got on that first call, it was like a breath of fresh air, and we said, "Oh, it's about to be on. This is gonna be good." And we were trying to figure out if we were going to do something in person, and we decided against it because we didn't feel we had the necessary runway. So we decided we were going to do a webinar, and we focused the webinar on Black innovation ecosystems. And we put out the RSVP on a Thursday, and I think by close of business Friday, we had over 1,000 RSVPs. We really only had about a week to promote it. And by the time it was time to go live with the webinar, I think we had north of 1,500 RSVPs, 600 people showed up, almost 400 people stayed on to the very end. We got such tremendous feedback. People were so excited about the information that we were sharing. We instantly got off and said, okay, what else are we doing? What's next? And so, we are excited to share a little bit more about what that looks like.
Well, and I would add too that all of the executive directors of the White House initiatives we share. So you've met me, you've met all of them, essentially. And so, the opportunities are certainly there to partner with us, but also to partner with all of the other initiatives. And I think, as we network and have conversations, I'm very much open to helping to facilitate, those conversations.
Well, I just wanted to point something out, again, back to a lot of the conversation around systems change. I think having truly a collaborator at the level of unlocking resources that the federal government invests, and I believe they may be the biggest investor in the entire world. I think that the opportunity for BIA coming so early on really set the stage, and it has opened up a lot of opportunity for cross-sector collaboration. Do you want to share, Kelly, a little, in a sort of high level, but a little bit more specific detail, what this collaboration is going to bring?
Yes. I want to kind of ground it in the broader fact that last year the Biden administration passed a $1.7 trillion financial package. $800 billion of that was for domestic spending, the largest allocation in the history of America, right? It's huge. It's huge. It's a huge opportunity, but I will tell you, it's caused a lot of scrambling on the ground among Black leaders and folks who are running organizations on the ground, because what we have seen over the years is that there are these earmarks that are set up for Black communities or communities of color, but that money very rarely hits the ground and makes it to the people. Oftentimes, it's absorbed by local governments or economic development agencies or white-led intermediaries, and very rarely does it hit the actual organizations who are supporting folks on the ground. So this is something that we've really been holding at BIA. It's something that our members are adversely impacted by. I will tell you, just about every member of BIA has some horror story about how resources that came down that were supposed to support their community but never actually made it. And so there is an urgency on our end to try to figure out how do we insert ourselves into that. So this is the framing that we went into this partnership with. And so the fact that the White House initiative has this interagency coalition where they're bringing together agencies on a regular basis, trying to figure out the most effective way to ensure that the money hits the ground, we were really thinking, how can we be a partner and a supporter of that? So this extension of our collaboration focuses on connecting Black entrepreneurs to information, to resources, and to markets. We are extending the webinar series because it's so important that they get direct insight and visibility into what's coming down from the agencies. And we're executing it through the balance of the year. We are creating a digital repository which houses all of the major opportunities across the agencies that have implications for communities of color. It's essentially a landing page on steroids because it's really important that we make it easy for entrepreneurs, for innovators, for Black-led organizations that want to partner with the government to access that information. And we're also partnering with the White House to do an inventory of resources around trade delegations. Because with our work at BIA, we are traveling internationally, speaking internationally a good bit. Wherever we go, folks want to know, when is BIA coming here? How can you help and support us? We're trying to also figure out how we create inclusive innovation ecosystems. How can you help? And so we want to figure out how we bring our entrepreneurs and expose them to global markets to say it's not just about building out your market in the States, but let's think beyond. And so we're really excited to carry forward this collaboration and expanding it because there's so much opportunity, but also so much willingness from the side, from the vantage point of the White House to get the money out to the communities as well.
Absolutely. The interagency working group it's really one of the crown jewels, I think, of this office. And so we do collaborate and we meet regularly with a multitude of agencies across the administration. And it was absolutely, I think, incredibly significant when we were able to introduce the agencies to the Black Innovation Alliance, because it's also keeping with a priority that's been set forth with the administration, and that is to increase procurement with minority-owned businesses by 50%. That's a priority. And so to be able to open up the lines of communication and engagement has really been welcomed by the agencies, and we're certainly looking forward, to expanding those opportunities and coordinating with BIA and others.
So I wouldn't want people to think you've got some incredible partners in addition to UBS. You've got a scale collaborator in Alexis and this White House initiative. This is really just the beginning.
Yes.
And so I think there will be opportunities for many of us in this room to be a part of this and find the places where we see, in the next decade, what is possible around Black innovation, Black entrepreneurship, and the ability to actually address the racial wealth gap in a significant and meaningful way and build generational wealth. So I know that we're running out of time. I just wanted to quickly say, I think the work that you all have dedicated your lives to is very much about being in service to others. So I just wanted to quickly close with, what would it mean to each of you personally to be able to achieve what you're setting out to do, Alexis, with this White House initiative, the collaboration that we've talked about today with BIA, and Kelly, what you, Tammy, incredible colleagues at BIA are leading, what would it mean to each of you personally to really see the fruits of everything that you've been working on come to fruition?
I think when I think about that, I want to see us really move the needle. And do that in a variety of areas. I want to see us diversify the educator pipeline. I want to begin to see some movement in closing that racial wealth gap. I want to see more in a diversified, set of entrepreneurs. And quite frankly, I want to make sure that our communities of color are full participants, in our technology and all of the opportunities that are lying before us right now. So to see some movement in that area, real movement, I'll be satisfied.
Fantastic. Kelly, close us out.
I would agree. At Black Innovation Alliance, we are, if it's not big and bad and bold, it's not for us. But we also need partners who are willing to invest in big, bad, bold solutions that enable us to experiment and to try and to tinker and understand that we are facing really complex problems and challenges, and the same old is not going to get it. We really need to invest in strategies that are thinking and doing things differently.
Fantastic. All right, well, join us in this movement. Thank you.
Thank you.